there are many, my biggest takeaway from this class is that through advertising, large industries subconsciously target our emotions rather than rationality, selling us values and ideas which have thereby shaped the culture of contemporary America. Throughout my visual essay, there are 3 things I will focus on: the impact of media on politics, gender stereotypes, and beauty standards, all of which we have covered in this class. Beginning with Postman, the one thing that stood out to me was the idea that medium shapes the content presented. Today we see the technological advancements in modern America have provided a platform for image-based mediums rather than text. It has transferred political content into a means of entertainment. The decline of the print-based medium and the growth of social media sparked a culture centered around emotion. It has altered the ability to think, creating a society highly addicted to over-dramatized political content. Additionally, it has desensitized us to traumatic events by oversaturating us with these stories. New forms of media also target emotion for economic gain, impacting society's ability to partake in rational discourse. Increased viewership generates ad revenue for media companies, providing a financial incentive to evoke emotion through entertainment-based content. Information presented in a highly dramatic and entertaining way engages its viewers and is ultimately what keeps them coming back. Because of this, many media outlets will shift the narratives to fit the beliefs of its consumer base. Most of the time, rather than educating, we see these media outlets are only reconfirming confirmation biases. This leaves many in filter bubbles. Social media platforms also have algorithms which show you what you want to see. We have learned that when Googling Black Lives Matter, liberals will likely see peaceful protests, while conservatives will likely see images of violence. It's extremely important to understand as we are seeing the repercussions of it through the current polarized political climate of the U.S. Another important figure we discussed who stood out to me was Edward Bernays. The media plays a large role in reinforcing our beliefs regarding beauty standards, many of which use his theories to do so. Bernays believed that human behavior could effectively be manipulated when playing upon one's fears and aspirations. We see Bernays' theory play out today in Axe advertisement, which I studied this past semester. It is clear to see that the company is exploiting the fears and insecurities of many men in order to promote consumerism. Subliminal messaging in this advertisement is dangerous as it portrays masculinity as someone who is fit, white, and straight. Axe and many other large corporations promote consumerism by playing into harmful gender stereotypes, making it harder for men and women to break away from characteristics that are perceived as conventionally masculine or feminine. Overall, the companies play a large role in our perception of gender and gender norms, oftentimes promoting toxic masculinity. We see the same issue presented for women as well, especially in the Killing of Softly documentary. We are saturated in a culture that constantly reinforces our biases about beauty standards as well. One thing that stood out to me from the beauty myth was the prolific growth of body dysmorphia, anorexia, and plastic surgery since the beginning of social media. It is clear that there is an intersectionality of consumerism and self-image, and industries target vulnerability for economic gain. I think the vast majority of American population could provide a concrete example of what is considered conventionally attractive, with many of these companies aware of such standards. They create products centered around fitting into this mold, which is typically what generates the most revenue. Ads sell values, images, and tell us who we are and what we should be. In the cosmetic industry, they use 4 to 5 women to compile their features to make the perfect woman. Much like Postman would argue, these cosmetic industries have an economic incentive to target emotions rather than rationality and exploit perceived flaws. Making a woman feel as though makeup will enhance her appearance will ensure a more presentable look, and will persuade her to purchase a product. However, this cannot be done without making her feel lesser about her natural image. Though constantly changing, conventional beauty standards are ingrained in our culture and influence what we buy and how we feel. Lastly, we see the constant reinforcement of gender stereotypes in the media. One example I analyzed this past semester was Legally Blonde. The movie Elle Woods is accepted into law school because she filmed her admissions video in a bikini. Reinforces the notion that the locus of power for women are in the body, and how the media promotes the sexualization and objectification of women to keep them in positions of power. Throughout the Killing of Softly documentary, we see similar portrayals of women in the media. These perceptions of women are dangerous as they promote the idea that women are there for men's pleasure, and that in order to be valued by society, they must fit society's beauty standard. Today, the media causes many issues in regards to politics and gender stereotypes, as well as beauty standards. However, I am hopeful for the future because I think lately there's been a push for inclusivity in the media. Whether it's representation for different body types or races, there's definitely been more diversity. There's also a current trend on TikTok where girls show themselves on social media versus what they actually look like in person, including all their flaws. I think we are very far from creating an equitable and healthy space in the media, and I don't know if we can ever reach it because companies profit off this system. But I do believe that society has made significant strides.